I'm Mike.
And I'm Adam.
And this is Stuff and Waffle. Two friends talking about stuff, and often as not, waffling with frequent reference to Bond cars.
Last week we claimed to be festive, purely because we knew when the episode was going to be released.
Yeah, it was only a claim, of course.
Yeah, and it was only a claim. You are absolutely right. Whereas this week we are actually festive because
merry ones and all that.
Merry ones, all that, felicitations and all of that stuff.
What?
Any
what
of that?
Did you call me?
Yeah, you heard. So this is going to be a weird one because, God blimey, by the time this comes out, we'll be well and truly into the new year. So happy New Year!
We will. But for us, it's Boxing Day.
Yes, we are coming at you from Boxing Day. We've had a Christmas Day. Let's face it, we overconsumed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Consumption's been high. Yes.
Yeah. I had to be talked down from the cheese board yesterday, even though I really wanted it. But I have had it tonight.
Yeah, I've got a selection on the go. Yeah.
Nice.
There's some brie I'm going to be attacking again shortly, so we're all set there. Yes.
So let's get the caveat out now, shall we? Just in case there's any unexpected pops and bangs. It's not because we've had a dodgy remap. It's because there's roasts on the go with some excessive amounts of cheese in play.
It's true. It's not a badly fitted exhaust system. Well, it is in your case.
Yeah. No,
that's not stainless steel.
No, it's not. No, it's really not. It's in Taz.
Some of your hangers are a bit loose.
Oh God, yeah. Not sturdy. So
sorry,
yeah,
not like that. No.
Oh no. Yeah. All right. So we've basically got, in car terms, we've got a festive remap. That's the problem.
That's what's gone on there. Yeah.
Yeah, the digestive system's been put through its paces, so we can only apologise for anything that pops out. Well, that's the trouble, isn't it? Now, here we are on Boxing Day. I'm 2 roast dinners in and a copious amount of cheese that was, let's face it, only finished within the last 20 minutes or so. Problem.
There's a lot gone into the system there, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot in play there. However, but there we go. We're here. We're festive. We've got a beer. You got some wine.
I certainly have. Yes.
That's it, yeah. Right, I've gone full granddad mode, so I am on nothing but the darkest of beers.
Oh, proper brown stuff.
Yeah. Well, to say it's proper brown, I'm on stouts and porters. Nothing else.
Oh. Yeah, that is hardcore. Yeah.
Well, it's winter, isn't it?
It's a serious business, that. Yeah, true. Yeah, true. None of that light amber stuff that you might have in the summer.
No. You can essentially shove your IPAs up your arse at this point. So
that's Christmassy, isn't it?
Yeah, there we go. Lovely. Sorted that out.
Yeah. Thank you, Grandad.
Perfect. Right. Let's. Oh, actually, it's almost a Christmas tradition, actually, shouldn't we? Just double checking whether we had any automotive-related gifts.
Oh, that's a good question. No.
Okay, that's good. No. And I think the same was for you last year. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before where you revealed your weirdest present.
I think that was the year before.
Yes. I think so. That one's really stayed with me.
It has. You took that one to heart.
Yeah, I mean, it is odd to get a tin of zinc primer for your Christmas present, but there we go.
It's unusual. Yeah, I grant you. I've still never had cause to use it, although I do still have it.
But that was my next question, whether you'd broken into it. But as it turns out,
no. There is a little job I need to do though, where I could potentially use it. So we'll see.
See if it's of any use. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. But I need the weather to cooperate in order to do said job, and it really hasn't been of late. So
No, it's been all round grim, isn't it?
I need it to not be raining, and that's quite a challenge at the moment.
Good luck with that.
So
Good
yeah.
I did get. I got a car sticker.
Oh, tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, or not so tremendous.
I mean, I'll put it on the car because it is true. It's probably not one I would have bought for myself, but I've. Oh God. I've been given a car sticker that says "Boobies make me smile."
Well,
yeah,
it's true.
well, it is. It's simple yet very truthful.
Can't argue with that. Yeah, no. It's accurate, if nothing else. Yeah, I think that should go on there. Why not?
I know. Well, yeah, sod it. Why not? Just lob it on.
Yeah. Only good things can come from that, I think.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah. Let's
go with that.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. And then in terms of gifts, everything else was very much not car related. In terms of Christmas Day activities, rounded off the day with the obligatory Mighty Car Mods Christmas feature film. That was lovely.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet.
No, that's really good.
Excellent.
Yep. So couple of beers. I sat there with Rob and we watched that yesterday evening. Perfect.
Oh, nice. Yeah, very good.
Just the job that was.
Yeah.
So I think what we've learned is that we've both had somewhat successful Christmas Day and Boxing Day.
Well, we're here to tell the tale. Yeah.
And everything's progressing in a direction that we're very much on board with. So that's good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
How about you tell the dear listeners about how a certain film franchise isn't going so harmoniously?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. So some news broke last week, which came from an article that I believe first appeared in the Wall Street Journal.
I think you're correct, yes.
Which suggested that there is some issues, shall we say, between Amazon, who of course now are 50% owners of the franchise, and Eon Productions, who of course is the company owned by Barbara Broccoli, who actually produced the films and who also own another 50%. Yes, the article suggests they have reached a bit of an impasse in that what Amazon want to do with it, the Broccolis find completely unacceptable, and the deal seems to have been set up so that they each have 50%, which is a terrible way to set up any kind of share organization. There should always be, even if it's only 1%, there should be something in somebody's favor, so that you've got a final say,
or a third,
or a third party. Yes,
just being able to go, right, I can break a tie.
Yes, exactly. If they really do have exactly 50%, then that has been set up in a really stupid way. The Wall Street Journal article would suggest that is how it's been set up. Amazon want to go in one direction, Eon want to go in another. They will not agree, and they are stuck.
Yes.
Therefore, no movie. And there has been, if the article is to be believed, there has been zero progress so far on the next Bond. So we are very much stuck. Yeah. And in fact, it does quote Barbara Broccoli at one point in the article.
Yes.
where she is referring to her producing partners. And it's not flattering.
No, I don't think we've had it confirmed, but it's very much reported, isn't it? That
Yes.
No, let's get it. We'll put it out there because it is a quote.
It is a quote.
An
it
alleged
is a direct
quote.
Yes.
An alleged. Oh, I can't speak tonight. An alleged direct quote from Barbara herself. These people are fucking idiots.
Yes. Apparently so. Referring to the executives at Amazon.
Yes.
And apparently the final straw was when they referred to the James Bond series as content. Apparently that got right up her nose.
I see.
And it happened in a meeting. And apparently when the deal was done, the two people at Amazon who were involved in doing the deal with Eon, she got on with really well, and they had a great shared vision for where Bond could go. But those two people left shortly after the deal was done, and were replaced. And the people that replaced them, she doesn't get on with at all, and have a very different vision of what it should be. They want apparently things like TV shows, animated series, game shows, stuff like that, whereas she wants to continue to make cinematic movies, and that's that. So they're kind of nowhere near each other, and neither will back down.
Well, it's bloody buggered, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
yeah. No script, no story, no actor. And that's it.
Okay. Right. We're going to come back to the actor element of that shortly. However, right. Like you say, they're very much a stalemate, it would appear.
Yes.
Now, I don't think you and I have, other than an exchange of messages, haven't really got into the nitty-gritty here.
We haven't really discussed this in any group. No, I sent you a link to the article, which was on the mi6hq.com website, which is a great source of Bond news if you're not familiar with it. I know you are, but as in our dear listener, if you're not familiar with it, it's a great source of Bond news. The actual article in the Wall Street Journal was behind their paywall, so most of us won't have been able to read the original article, but it has been summarized everywhere. But I kind of took my information from mi6hq.com as they're pretty reliable.
Yes. Yep. That's I think that's fair. This isn't conjecture at this point, is it? It's fact, basically.
I think so, yeah. And so the Wall Street Journal have not disputed anything that's been put out there about it. So,
right. So, what we need to assess is whether we sit on a particular side of the fence. I think that's probably the most sensible thing.
Yeah.
Because I can. Let's face it. Barbara will be set in her ways. She's old school.
Well, she is old school. She's also working with her father's legacy.
Exactly. Now, just to be the devil's advocate here, just going, well, actually, the world has changed a lot. And I think film franchises are going to have to adapt if they want to stay relevant.
Yes, that's probably fair.
Because you think how Harry Potter came out of nowhere and dethroned Bond as the most successful film franchise.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
And in recent times has continued to diversify. We've got basically a reincarnation of it coming. It's out in various different mediums as well, whether that's spin-offs, games, or games set in the same universe. There's a lot there, and they're willing to explore it.
Yes, that's fair. I mean, people consume their media in lots of different ways now. You don't have to go to the cinema to watch a movie like you did when Bond first started, certainly.
Yeah, I think if she's entirely immovable on this topic, that's it. We're done.
Yeah, I agree.
She's got to just give a little bit.
If she's full cinematic release and nothing else, then it's probably not going to happen, because that's probably not something that Amazon are going to want to do. Although they have paid quite a lot of money for it at this point.
You raise another valid point. This is something else on my list of going.
Yes.
But this is Babs and her dad's legacy. And it's very well known. Their company is by no means insignificant, but I don't think they've got enough in the arsenal to battle with Amazon.
No, I mean, Barbara and Michael are very wealthy, but they're not Amazon wealthy.
No, they're not. They're not Captain Bez with his billions and trillions knocking about.
No, they're not. They're very wealthy people, but they're not that wealthy.
No.
They're relatively small fish in his world.
Yes.
And whilst the purchase of MGM, a sizable portion of that will have been valued based on Bond being part of that catalogue, they did get a lot of other things with it.
Yes.
But unlike most people who have an interest in things that Amazon own, she seems to have retained more control than anyone else has ever been allowed to do. And if it really is 50-50, then they're both stuck.
Yeah, they're definitely stuck. If now this call me cynical, if it's 50-50, I know whose lawyers are going to find the one little loophole to deal with that situation.
If there is one, yeah. You think there's a risk she might get frozen out?
I do. I genuinely do. But as soon as I read this, I was like, oh God, it's one of those things where, and we heard the alleged quote, and you're like, oh, careful. It's like, pick your battles.
Yeah. This isn't really like anyone they've gone up before. People like Kevin McClory and things in the past.
No.
Who, he was.
They were the big fish then.
Yes, they were far more powerful and had far more money to throw at it than he ever did. This is different. Especially as the one time he was allowed to make a movie, it was a bit crap.
Well, let's face it, it certainly was. Whereas I genuinely worry, if there's not a bit of give and take, the rug will be pulled out from under her.
Well, it's interesting. There's some sort of bullet points on the MI6 HQ article. One of them is that Michael Wilson, Barbara's producing partner and half brother, couldn't get a meeting with anyone at Amazon above level 6, which apparently means in internal terms 6 levels below the CEO. So that's a fair way down into your management structure.
Let's face it, he's talking to the cleaner there.
Yeah, that's a fair way down, isn't it? I would question even if anyone at that level is really a decision maker even.
Mm-hmm. Oh dear.
So that doesn't bode well.
That, oh my God, that one thing that won't have helped, which kind of falls in Bab's favour, was that atrocious game show.
Well, yeah, I mean, they do mention that in the article. And they, Amazon, apparently that the Road to a Million was already in development when Amazon bought it. So it doesn't originate from Amazon. And Amazon are concerned that that needs to go.
That's really interesting. I didn't realise that little.
Well, according to the article, yeah, 007 Road to a Million show was in development before Amazon acquired MGM.
Okay.
And Amazon executives have griped that the show's first season lost a significant share of viewers after 6 minutes. So,
fucking hell, minutes.
Yeah, minutes.
Oh no! Oh my God! I thought that could have been a bargaining chip there for Babs, but no.
Oh, no. It wasn't theirs, and they want it gone. They think it's a disaster. Which, to be fair, it is.
It is. Oh shit!
Apparently, it's losing a significant percentage of its audience after 6 minutes into the episode. So no one's making it through to the end. Well, I mean, some people are, but some aren't. They also comment that Greg Wilson, who's Michael's son and who works for Eon, really wants to modernize the character and doesn't want it to be a straight white male. He wants to go in a very different direction. Barbara is dead against that. Doesn't want that at all.
Well, that's one that's just going to be a debate that rumbles on, I'm afraid, of which direction do they go in. But that debate can only happen if there is a resolution to the stalemate.
Yeah.
That's kind of irrelevant whether they take it in a similar direction or a different direction, because at present, no direction.
No direction at all. As I say, there's been some tension over the fact that somebody in a meeting referred to James Bond as content, which really annoyed Barbara. And apparently another Amazon executive said to her that I don't think James Bond is a hero.
I mean, that's a really interesting take, because I think you and I could sit and debate that and probably come out at the same conclusion.
Perhaps so, but apparently the room went silent and Barbara walked out. So,
but it's that same debate. That's good though. Something like that. That's really. I'd say that's a healthy perception. In the same way that we could apply the same logic and say Batman is not a hero.
Yeah, I think
because he's not, and it's a similar thing.
Certainly, the Bond of the books isn't. I don't think. They've tried to make him into one in some of the movies.
But I mean, let's face it, Babs won't put Daniel down, and
there is that problem as well. Yes,
whoever this person was in that meeting, I couldn't argue against it in the Daniel Craig era. I would not call Daniel Craig's Bond heroic.
No, I wouldn't. I think that, to be fair, that's a fair take on it. But it obviously, the point is that it obviously caused Barbara some offence. She didn't like that.
Okay. I mean, I know that neither you or I was present for this or the alleged comments of late. Our meeting invites were a bit late. So to to the observer, it would appear that Barbara isn't acting in a very becoming fashion.
No.
There's an air of professionalism which seems to be lacking.
Well, I mean, she's never had to deal with anything like this before, has she? She's never dealt with, I mean, very few of us in our careers would get to deal with an organization as big and powerful as Amazon.
No, and it's really difficult to relate. But there are some times in your professional career where you go, look, you're dealing with someone and you go, I don't agree with this in the slightest. But you have to approach it from an objective way, because otherwise you'll do more harm than good.
Yes, absolutely.
And I fear we may have fallen into that trap.
It could be, and it could be that Barbara isn't the right person to be driving this forward anymore. The world has changed, and I know the world's changed a few times in the history of Bond, and there has been lots of external factors that have tried to influence it in the past.
I mean, let's face it, this in recent times, this is the biggest shift in cinema, the way that we consume, and I'm going to use the word content.
Yes.
Because I'm afraid I don't think you can react to that word in the way she did, because unfortunately, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. And content isn't meant to be a derogatory term. It's just what media is called these days.
Yeah.
And in the many forms that it now comes, and in the many diverse ways that we all consume content or media. But I don't think she can see past a movie in a cinema. I don't get the impression that anything other than that is of interest to her. She wants to make old school movies to be released in the cinema, and everyone trots off to the cinema and sees it, and that's how. She's not interested in anything else. Amazon want to kind of do everything except that.
Well, I don't think they're against it. I think they're more than happy to do it with cinema releases, but they want an array of, and I'm going to use the word again, content to complement it.
Yes.
Whether that's spin-offs or backstories in bite-sized chunks, so mini-series or prolonged TV series, stuff like that. I know there's been ideas banded around of spin-offs of other characters, or an exploration of Bond in his younger years. And I just don't think you can be a closed book on these things. You've got to at least have the conversations.
Well, apparently after a meeting in May 22, which is just a few weeks after the deal closed, there was a 10.5-page memo circulated within Amazon listing ideas for new shows and movies based on the titles in the newly acquired MGM library.
Yes.
They said the goal was to maximize content opportunities presented by MGM and the MGM library acquisition. Well, that's fair enough. They want to try and maximize on what they've just spent a huge amount of money on. But apparently next to James Bond on that list, it said to be discussed, on hold pending larger discussions.
There you go. That doesn't mean there aren't ideas brewing, though, I'm afraid.
No. Indeed.
No.
But the fact that she seems extremely resistant to the ideas that Amazon have put on the table is a problem. And it's a problem for Amazon if they really do both have exactly 50%. That was a badly structured deal if that is the case. And it has created this situation.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. And if this, here's another thing, right? And this pains me to say it, because I don't want there to be a disruption in the production of Bond films or Bond content.
No. No, obviously.
Let's
We want there to be another movie.
let's face it. If this stalemate is not able to be dealt with, Amazon will go on to make billions and trillions of money, regardless of whether
Yes, they will.
the Bond
Yes,
film comes out or not.
Yeah.
If another Bond film doesn't come out, Eon will cease to exist.
Well, it's the only profitable product they have.
It's the they've, as we've discussed previously, they have churned out other films.
Yes.
Not one single one of them has turned a profit.
No, ever.
So
it is their only profitable product.
So let's face it, again, if there isn't another film, that company is not viable.
No, and maybe that's okay for Barbara and Michael. They could shut the company down, make everyone redundant. They'll both be fine.
It's an unceremonious end, though, isn't it?
It is. It is, because that was her father's. Well, it was Cubby and Harry that founded Eon Productions to make the first Bond film. And yeah, it would be a terrible end, and it would be a terrible shame if No Time to Die was the last Bond film.
Yeah, we need.
I'm afraid to say.
Yeah, there could have been a stronger finish. Let's face it.
Yeah, they could.
But I think the ball is firmly in Barbara's court.
Yeah, I think so. Apparently, Amazon has hired another executive who is apparently a bit more sympathetic to Barbara and gets on with Barbara a bit better. And they're hoping that she might be able to smooth the way a bit. But we'll see. There's also a comment here that apparently sometime in 2021, Eon turned down a deal to create a James Bond themed casino.
That, I mean, well, that would have been fun.
I don't think that's relevant. It's just a comment in the article.
But it's what it is it cements that theory that I had of absolutely no interest in diversification, because I'm going to be honest with you, a casino will always make money. A James Bond themed one will make more money than your average casino, I would say.
It would do very well, I'm sure. Yes, I absolutely, especially if they pick the right location. So yes, that could make everyone involved a great deal of money. Yes, actually, I think that's as a business proposal, that's probably pretty compelling.
That's the thing, that corporate bit of my brain says that's a mistake. You didn't do that.
You didn't do that because you could have cleaned up on that.
You could have made an awful lot of money, and dare I say it, you could have probably had a larger return on that than you did on No Time to Die.
Yeah, let's be all quite a few of the movies, to be honest. Yes, I think so. That could actually be a really nice thing to have done. I think it could have created quite a. You do that right, it could be quite classy.
And the thing is, it can be classy and it can be a bit of fun as well. It's what it is it gives weirdos like us, or even your casual Bond viewer, a bit of fun and a bit of a story and a bit of a memory.
Oh, we'd go for an evening, wouldn't we?
Of course we would.
Would.
Yeah, I would go as far as say that's a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, apparently I don't know who proposed that to them. I mean, obviously 2021 that was still quite COVID-y. But that was pre-Amazon. That must have been MGM related though, because MGM got their hand in casinos. Well, they've got the MGM Grand in Vegas, haven't they? Which is one of the largest casinos on the Strip. So yeah, I would imagine that was probably MGM saying, "Here, listen, we know a thing or two about the casino business these days. Let's do a Bond-themed casino." And yeah, Eon said, "Nah, we're all right, thanks." She only wants to make movies. That's the bottom line. I think that's what we can learn from this, is that she only wants to make movies, and she's not interested in any other ideas.
Interesting.
Amazon are full of ideas, and want to try and do something with it, but she just won't budge. I think that's the situation we're in.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll just have to feedback when we get a bit more on this. I did mention that we would come back to the actor.
Yes, please do.
And I only say this is because in the past, I don't know, week, maybe not even week, there's been another name. Plenty of articles flying about. None of which are well substantiated. These are all very much rumours, but it's interesting. We get a whole new name in amongst all of this.
Yes.
And chap who stars in Netflix The Crown, among other things, but that's the most recent thing that I've, I say seen him in. I'm aware of him being in. I've not sat and watched The Crown. That's really not for me.
No, nor have I. No.
No, it's Josh O'Connor, and it's a rumor that's been consistent.
Well, so have several others.
Yeah, it's just one of the. We've seen nonsense of late, and it's just a rumor that's got more traction than some of the others, and I don't think that means anything. I still think it's a rumor. I still think it could be utter conjecture. But
I think, given this article particularly, if there's any truth to it at all, I don't think they're not anywhere near selecting an actor. So I take all of this with a pinch of salt. He is another British actor about the right age who has the sort of look of a traditional, in inverted commas, Bond. I'm not taking any rumors like that seriously, really, at the moment.
No, it's odd because I think this came out like a day or two before the Wall Street Journal one, about Barbara and it all kicking off a bit. It was just odd timing, and I thought it would be noteworthy.
Maybe, unless somebody knew this article was coming and they thought, well, let's stick out another Bond. There's going to be some Bond news. Let's stick another article out about.
Yeah. It's only. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's going to generate clicks in it regardless. But
quite.
His name is now very much in the hat, along with Aaron Taylor-Johnson, and I think we are safe to say that Idris's name has been firmly jettisoned from the hat.
Well, unless Greg Wilson has his way, who apparently he wants to go in that direction, but Barbara has said that Idris will never be Bond, so who knows?
No, and which is, let's face it, is a shame.
It is a shame, but I mean, whatever happens, we're still years away. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, and I don't wish to do Idris a disservice, but
no, that's nothing. It's not. It's not detrimental to him. I think the franchise is in such a state at the moment.
It's also that awkwardness of going. I do really like Idris, and I think he's incredibly talented, and I think he would have played the role superbly, but he is now 52 years.
We're getting into Roger Moore and A View to a Kill territory now, aren't we?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Idris Elba, I've never met the man, but I'm going to say now, is in much more tip-top physical shape than I am.
All the good self. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
But they've already said mid-30s is where they're aiming.
Yeah.
for whatever actor of whatever demographic is picked.
Well, I think Bond probably should be between about 35 and 40. Anything beyond that, and we've obviously seen examples of that.
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore, and we love Roger Moore. Let's be clear.
We do.
But
let's.
He hung on a couple too long. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he did. He did. It wouldn't have if Mr. Dalton picked up the torch a little earlier, would it?
It wouldn't, but it didn't happen. So there we are. Mean, but yeah, that wouldn't have hurt at all.
Oh God, let's hang on. Let's picture that.
Where are we starting then?
Timothy
Dalton. Starting, Mr. Dalton.
Timothy Dalton in For Your Eyes Only.
Ooh. Yeah.
A little bit darker. What a start.
That would have worked. Yeah. Because that was a script that wasn't entirely written for Roger.
No, that was. There was that the point where he was doing one film deals.
Yeah, he'd had his 4-picture deal, so which he'd obviously completed with Moonraker, and then from that point on, he negotiated one film at a time.
Yes.
And he had, when they were writing For Your Eyes Only, he hadn't signed on to do another one. So they wrote it with someone else in mind, and they had a few who were on the short list.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I think on the DVD there's even some clips of some screen tests.
Interesting.
That were done. Didn't Sam Neill screen test for Your Eyes Only?
Did he screen test for Your Eyes Only? No, that's a very good question, because I thought it was The Living Daylights.
Maybe it was later. Maybe I'm misremembering that. But yeah, maybe it was later. Not sure about that. I know. Yeah, certainly For Your Eyes Only was not written with any certainty that Roger was going to do it. I remember John Glenn, the director, saying he was quite glad that Roger did it because he didn't want his first time directing to also be saddled with having to introduce a new Bond. He had enough to be getting on with.
Yeah, that would have been awkward. Yeah, I did a little Google there. Yeah, Sam Neill's screen test was in '86.
Right, so that would have been Living Daylights. Okay, I stand corrected. I couldn't remember. I knew he had screen tested, and I know they did a scene from Russia with Love, but
it was quite a strong screen test, if I'm honest.
It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, he'd have been fantastic. He had a real Connery look to him as well.
He did. So no, unfortunately, we just had to settle for him being a dinosaur perv instead.
We did. Yeah, digging through the poo there.
Yeah.
But yeah, For Your Eyes Only, and that's why For Your Eyes Only opens with Bond putting flowers on Tracy's grave. It was designed as a introduce the new actor and make it clear that this is the same character. We're still moving forwards.
Yeah, a bit of a reset piece there.
A bit of a reset piece, but at the last minute, Roger.
Yeah, unlike
signed on.
This never happened to the other fella. Introduction.
Yes, exactly. Well, that was very on the nose, but
well, you might as well address it head on, wouldn't you?
Well, I thought it was a great way of dealing with it. Yeah, great way of dealing with it. Yeah, a very nice touch. But yeah, I take all these stories about different actors and things doing it with a pinch of salt at the moment, because I just don't think they're anywhere near that stage, unless someone at Amazon is talking to actors. I don't know. I don't think Eon are.
That would be. I tell you what, that would be fascinating, wouldn't it? If Amazon are sort of going, right, well, what we're going to do is hedge our bets here.
Yeah.
On the off chance that this falls in their favour of going, right, we're going to sort out our next Bond.
Well, I think as soon as they are able to, they're going to want to do something, aren't they? Be it a movie or a TV show or something. They're going to want to move fast. And I think they would have. I think we'd have a movie already if it was up to Amazon. Why would we not? I think Barbara is getting in the way, which would suggest that she does have her 50%. And if she's not going to budge and they can't do anything about that, I mean, we could get into another legal situation, which is messy and drawn out and only makes money for lawyers. Who knows? The Bond franchise has been through that, as we've said several times before. There have been situations where they've been put in where they haven't been able to produce a movie. But
this is massively different.
It is.
It is. There's always, the thing is, in previous instances, that the end goal has always been to make the next film.
Yes, absolutely. Get this so we can make the next film. Yeah.
This doesn't have that feel about it.
No. No, because I'm not sure Amazon do want to make the next film. I think they want to do lots of other things. Or not only the next film. They might want to make the next film, but
I genuinely think they do. If I were them, I would say, if it fell in their favour, I would say that the next film will be their first port of call, and that will get people talking about it, and then they'll do the other stuff.
Yeah.
Which I kind of get. And it's the same. I don't like to use this analogy because neither you or I are Star Wars fans, but Disney bought Star Wars.
Yes.
Disney released The Force Awakens and went, right, we're going to pick all the best bits from all the films that people hold dear, chuck it in that, go and give exactly what they fancy. Going, right, here's a load of people you like, here's a load of new people to pass the torch to. And what it did was it put people at ease, and it allowed them to A, continue the story, but B, do the spin-offs.
Yes.
Whether that's the standalone movies of Rogue One or Solo or Boba Fett, or the TV shows of Mandalorian and the like. It's just they've all proved to be very successful, but they all needed that starting point of going, right, let's go with what people are expecting.
Yeah, let's do another movie, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. We don't know the nitty-gritty detail of this. But
this is wild speculation.
But whatever it is, there's obviously they have not met in the middle yet.
They can't even see each other. They're that far away.
No, this is true. Well, Barbara keeps leaving the meeting and slamming the door by the sound of it. So
that's not going to help, is it?
No, it isn't.
No, especially if it's a Teams meeting. Doing that is really not very effective.
It's really hard to slam a door on a Teams meeting. I know we've been robbed of that, haven't we? It's like you can't slam the phone down on somebody anymore.
No, everyone just assumes your internet dropped.
Yeah, so it's really hard to make a grand exit anymore.
No. Oh my goodness! I tell you what though, it's like, oh my god, here we are, our first episode of the year, and I don't remember there being cars involved. However, this news was too significant to miss.
No, we had to touch on this. I didn't intend to spend the whole episode on it, but there is quite a lot of detail there, and there's a lot going on.
That it did grow legs a little bit there. However, I think it's very important to tackle it because, let's face it, it bothers us, and
it does bother us. I know not all our listeners are interested in Bond, but we are, and it's our podcast. So.
Yeah. I promise next week's will be about cars, but
we'll get back onto cars. Yes.
But I know they call me granddad, but I just my thoughts and where I'm sort of going to leave it for the episode is the fact that I think that Eon need to move with the times. I don't necessarily think that's what I want them to do, but I think that's the only thing they can do.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to. Yeah, I think they're going to have to. And if that means that maybe Barbara retires and they do hand it over to someone else, if she can't see herself doing anything else with it, I think it's perhaps more important that it continues, even if it doesn't have a broccoli at the helm.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right. Well, we'll have to see, won't we? The next time we get an article, we'll be all over it. Don't you worry.
We're watching this story as it breaks very carefully, and we'll keep kicking it around. But I fear it's going to go on for a while yet.
Yeah, it's going to rumble on, and I just don't think it's going to be the rumbling that we all want.
Well, I think that's probably enough of that for this week. Check us out on all the various social medias and things. Thank you very much for listening.